Hello, and today I've got a really special guest, a gorgeous woman, Maxine. And Maxine and I have been working together on something that's a little bit different. So, around confidence and applying for jobs. So, Maxine, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's honestly such a pleasure to be here. I've got nothing but wonderful things to say, so really excited to share my experience.
Amazing. And look, what I love about your story, and you're going to tell us about it in a minute, is that you've done the work. So, what you and I have been speaking about isn't theoretical. You've listened, you've taken it on, and you've been really brave and you've gone through and done the work, and you've had this huge transformation, which is just amazing. So, thank you for sharing your story. I think what I'd love to do today is perhaps if we can go back to where you were, what your frustrations were, what your challenges were, what some of the real things you were struggling with were, because I think you telling your story will help others to understand, wow, I can do this too. So
Yeah,
take us back in time.
absolutely. No,
And how long are we talking? Because it
oh
wasn't
my
that long
goodness.
ago.
No, definitely not. Well, I think that we started working together, what, maybe like 2 months ago or something around like that time. But before that, I was really just kind of in a place where I didn't know my place. I was kind of struggling with what my strengths were. I didn't really fit anywhere. I couldn't find, that passion in me and exactly where I felt like my, true abilities were and where I wanted to go. So I was kind of in this place of, sitting in a very sort of large space of like where are my talents and who do I want to be really? I just wasn't so sure. So I've been working in communications for a while, kind of dabbling in different areas, writing, stakeholder relations, account management, things like that. So it was just, I felt quite lost, honestly. And as you mentioned, confidence has been a real challenge in my life. Really, as far back as I can remember, I've struggled with having that kind of just strengthen me to stand into my power and say, these are the things that I'm good at. This is what I can bring. This is where I shine. And this is where I want to go with my life and where I want to take myself. So I think having quite a lot of feelings of self doubt within me was just holding me back. And I really didn't know where to start, honestly. So I think, and then Vanessa came into my life. It was really, honestly, the perfect time. It was when I was ready to really step up, step into my power, but I just didn't know where to start. I didn't have the tools. I didn't know what I was good at. I didn't know how to figure it out. So yeah, working with Vanessa, we really just kind of, it was just amazing to have that framework to actually go through the steps to find myself and find what excited me and what I found that I was good at and I could bring, to a team or to a job or, a group of people. And yeah, it's just kind of once you have someone there to really walk you through the steps and say, no, like this is what you're good at, and let's talk more about this, and let's unpack this, and let's really dive a bit deeper into it. And I think, especially for myself and a lot of other women that I know, it's hard to really kind of unpack what you are good at and to say, yeah, I'm a great speaker or a great writer. And it's hard to bring that out. But having, a mentor, a coach to actually say, no, this is, I want you to tell me what you're good at, and I want you to speak positively about yourself, and talk to me about what excites you and what your passions are. It's just, it was life changing, really, because I don't think that I've ever had that safe space to really voice it and to get it out there and to put it down on paper um, and to actually actualize it and bring it to life. So, yeah, it's been an incredible journey that to be honest, wasn't even, I think at the start, I didn't really know how much was going to happen. So it was really exciting and surprising to kind of find that confidence deep in myself.
Well done. Look at you, you're glowing.
Honestly, I mean, it was a crazy transformation. I didn't expect it, and you've been an absolute like catalyst in all of it just to bring it out. And it's really funny what is already kind of lying within yourself that I think you just need someone to kind of allow you to bring out. So, yeah, I just can't thank you enough, Vanessa, for giving me a safe space to really let myself shine and be proud of myself and explore, you know, my talents and strengths.
It's an honor. It really is. I feel emotional. Like it's
Me too.
incredible. I it's not taught, is it? It's not taught in schools. Our parents do
No.
their best job, they absolutely do, but they're not taught. And we've got to remember we've come from generations of war and depression and all of those things. And so,
Mm,
it's not something that's been a big priority. And, some of the
no.
conversations we had around owning your strengths, feeling great about who you are in your skin isn't
Mm,
narcissistic. It isn't egotistical.
no.
It's who you
No.
are. You're an abundant part of this gorgeous universe we live. Let's
Absolutely.
bring it into our body.
Oh my God, absolutely. I have shivers just hearing you say that. I mean, you're so right. Like I feel like it's not taught in school. It's, always to be very modest and, kind of sit in the background and which is, it's a great thing to be humble, but I think you're right. Like we do need to be taught to embrace who we are and really bring those talents out to shine rather than kind of being taught to just stay in the background and, you know, do our thing. So, yeah, I've never been taught the lessons that you taught me. And I think it's something that everyone should know.
It's amazing. So tell me, you've gone from being confused, the idea of a job interview made you feel like vomiting, you know, to now able to stand in your own strength and be really confident. And look at this conversation we're having today. It's amazing and very genuine.
Mm.
Where are you at now in
Um,
work, in career, tell us your story because it's really quite fascinating
it's
and interesting.
truly amazing. I wouldn't have thought that it would have taken a few short weeks. But in the last few weeks, I actually landed a job that I can't believe I have. It's something that I really feel truly excited about and passionate about. So, I mean, I'll take you back a few steps, really. But before that, you're right. I felt very lost in interviews. I didn't really know how to speak confidently about myself. I didn't really know how to talk about my talents or where my strengths were. I felt quite intimidated, I think, by the panel and just really honestly feeling like I wasn't good enough to be there. I didn't feel like I was good enough for the jobs that I was interviewing for, and that, eventuated in me not getting any offers. And I had applied for probably like, I don't know, up to 100 jobs. I had probably like 10 interviews, just wasn't landing anything. And then, funnily enough, we worked together. I think it was the first interview that I had after we started working together. I went into that interview feeling like a completely different person. I could speak confidently. I could talk about my achievements. I felt like I was worthy of being there, really. I didn't feel like I was wasting their time. I thought, no, I'm a strong candidate for this role and I have a lot to give. I have a lot to offer. I I have the skills, I have the experience, I have the knowledge. And just knowing that because of all the work that we had done together, I could actually really show up in the interview and apparently I did very well and I got offered the role. So it was just wild thinking that after however many sessions we had, I think maybe only 4 or 5, and then here I got an amazing job, which I'm extremely excited for. The salary really fits how I feel I'm worth, which is another thing I think, you know, us kind of wanting to get paid what we think that we're worth is so important. And, being rewarded for like the services that we're giving and matching that, it's just incredible to know that I'm getting paid something that I really feel like is, yeah, it just makes me feel like I'm doing something really great, and I've got the strength, and I'm being kind of given back for that. So yeah, it was just amazing, really, the experience of going into that interview, feeling confident, and then it all kind of just worked out in such a positive way. So it's, as you can hear, I'm still quite shocked about it. I don't really even know how to put it into words because it was just, yeah, an amazing experience.
And I think the great thing is that you will take this forward. So I first did this exercise, would have been about a little bit over 10 years ago. So I
Mm,
was in executive roles and I was moving to another executive role. And similar to you, I'd kind of landed jobs a bit by luck. Well, I
yeah.
call it luck, but it wasn't really luck. It was because I was very capable and competent, but I'd put it down to luck. And then I was in this position where there was a job that I really wanted and I had to apply.
Mm,
And when it came to putting the application together, I said to a friend of mine, I don't actually know what I'm good at. And she was like, Are you kidding? I was like, No, I don't. I'm a nice person. That's about it.
exactly.
And she was like, You have some heavy lifting to do. You've got some work to do. And so the framework that I took you through, Maxine, was exactly the work that I did, which, as you know, it takes time. Like it took me the same amount of time as you, between 5 and 10 hours of homework.
Mm,
But what it has done is it left that imprint in me. So I can stand up now and very confidently talk about my key strengths and not feel up myself, not feel egotistical. I own it and it feels great. And it's 10 years on, and I don't need to do, I could do refresher work for sure,
yeah.
but now you've got the tools. You've
Yeah,
had that shift
absolutely.
internally where you go, No,
Mm,
actually, yeah, it's more than me just being a nice person. Yes, that's a thing.
definitely.
But I'm very capable and competent, and I've got great values as well as my expertise. So
Exactly, exactly.
yeah,
I was you're so right. I was completely stuck in that I'm a nice person and that's all I have to offer, really. So, and I think a lot of my friends are like that too, just thinking, well, I'm nice and I'm helpful, and they're both beautiful qualities, but I think we have so much more to offer than just being a nice person. So, it's incredible to unlock that and unlock all the amazing other talents and abilities and values that I do have. And you're so right when you say there was a shift, because it absolutely was like that. It did really feel like it was just unlocked, and to have that kind of confidence just brought out was unbelievable.
and as a coach, it's very it gives me great honor, and I know the moment it happened. We were
Really?
sitting in the sun in that cafe. Yeah, I can actually see it in you because what happens is there's a physiological response.
Oh
So
my
usually
goodness.
someone goes, or they'll yawn, or often people cry
Oh
when they're
my
in session with
gosh.
me. And I remember the moment where there was a shift and I went,
Oh my
huh,
goodness.
we're there. You
I
had to do the
love
work,
that.
and I didn't tell you, oh, you've progressed to the next level, Maxine. Um, but I knew that what we were talking about had gone in. And so that's always a good hint as well. If you're talking with someone and
Mm,
they don't say anything, but there's a big pause, it means there's been something because it's the vagus nerve that
wow.
relaxes. So that's the main nerve that drives our nervous
Yeah.
system.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I had no idea that it was actually like a physiological thing. That is
Well, that's just what I've
incredible.
observed. I've observed it in my health clinic. I've observed it when
Yeah.
I've done coaching,
Well, it
you know.
makes absolute
Yeah.
sense because I almost felt a little bit silly. I was like, I feel like I've completely just suddenly shifted, and it is that just, have I just made this up in my head that I'm like, oh yeah, I feel a bit more confident now. But
Look at
you're,
me.
I know, but you're so right. It really did feel like that kind of instantaneous, like, oh, it's okay. Like, I've I've got a lot to offer. So
Amazing. You do.
yeah.
So what would you say to someone? What would you say to someone who, because I think the big thing I find, particularly with women, is I don't want to spend money on myself.
Mm,
So, and maybe it's not that's what maybe that's not the thought, but maybe
yeah.
that's the sabotage where, and I see it all the time where we go, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if, I can do it. There's
Mm,
some of the objections, you're in marketing, about objections that people throw up, but I
yeah.
see it all the time. But yet they're more than willing to pay for gym membership, get their nails done, get their hair colored, buy clothes, things like that. So, if the objection is, I don't know what I'll get. I don't want to spend the money. I'm not
Mm,
sure about investing the time.
yeah.
What's your tips for someone who is stuck?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very funny because you're so right. We're so easily able to spend money on things that we can see, a tangible result, like spending money on new clothes. We'll have new clothes or new hairstyle, things like that. And I think sometimes it's hard to spend money on something that you might not see the result. And I think as well it stops people, as I said, like I wasn't really sure of what I was going to get or feel at the end. So I think when people maybe aren't really promised that end result, they're maybe a bit more hesitant. But what I can say really is that I was in the same place. I thought I can do this alone. I have a lot of work to do, but I'll do it. I'll get there. I'll eventually feel confident in myself. I'll eventually know where I want to go, and it'll come. But as I mentioned before, I think it really is quite hard to do it alone when you don't have that sort of safe space and really that person to kind of coach you through and help you and give you the steps and mentor you through it, and just someone to talk you through maybe the doubts that you're having or those kind of niggling insecurities that you might not really have this safe space to talk about and say, hey, I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know where I fit or what my skills are. And I've always just been the nice, helpful one, or, the one with the smile and, that people can come to, but I don't really know what lights me up and what I get my energy from or where I want to go. So I think it's actually invaluable to have that coach and that mentor and that safe space to really talk about yourself and dig a little deeper, because it is quite hard to do it just on your own, to really dig deep and talk through things. And I think as well, just voicing your concerns and your fears or your doubts is so powerful, just to get it out there and writing things down as well. I mean, you gave me so many materials and steps and like a booklet to kind of go through, and activities and challenges to really take myself through to get these things ticking in my mind to enable that shift, because I didn't have anything like that. As you mentioned, in schools we're not taught this. We don't have a workbook to say here's how to find your strengths and your talents and what you feel good about and how to build your confidence. Like it's not really something that we're taught how to do, and I had no idea where to start. So I think it really is truly invaluable to have someone there to just kind of guide you through and say it's okay, this is normal, or what you're feeling is not weird, or you're not it's all right that you're having these doubts or these insecurities, and you'll get there because you're good at this and you can do this, and look what's showing up through your writing, or and I think just talking to someone really just you'll be surprised at what you say and what you feel, and when that shift happens, that's better than the hairstyle or the new clothes, because it's really an internal kind of makeover. So I think it's hard to invest that money into yourself when you're not sure of exactly what result you'll see, but it will probably end up being even better than you think it will. So I just encourage people to really invest in themselves because, like you said, it's a shift that you're making for the long term, for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And I honestly don't think it's something that I could have done on my own.
Yeah, you could get lost in Google, couldn't you, and not get that clarity for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have tried watching, YouTube videos and going on Google to say how to find my passion, how to feel confident, but it's you're right, you get
Yeah,
lost and
yeah.
it doesn't really feel like there's someone there to kind of really help you. It's just a jungle of resources. But I think just having someone there who's dedicated to helping you step into your power is just, I mean, I think really everyone should do it because
Mm.
it's just transformational.
I do too. And I think it's your health will benefit as well
Oh,
because you're constantly
completely.
now in this state of um, self-awareness. Not that you weren't
Mm,
aware, but awareness of who you are.
yeah.
And I feel like from a hormonal cascade perspective, you're not at work thinking, I need to please, or did I do the right
Mm,
thing? Or
oh,
because you've
absolutely.
up leveled your consciousness and you're more the observer now of you,
Mm,
and you're standing stronger in who you are and the benefits for your health, because we talk a lot about that
yeah.
around confidence and self-worth as a
Mm,
key aspect to health is phenomenal. And I think what you said about the long
absolutely.
term is spot on.
Completely. I mean, you're so right. I I truly do feel like my body has relaxed a lot. And
Good.
you're right, just to kind of be that observer. And it kind of takes you out of that kind of feeling of fight or flight and constantly being quite on edge and ready to react because you've got that confidence in yourself and you know that you'll be okay and you can handle it and you know what you're doing. You've got the tools and the skills to deal with anything that comes at you. And I find that um, I'm a lot more kind of at ease now, which is helping my body really. I mean, to just, I think everything sort of is working a lot better, which is something I didn't plan on talking about. But I feel like
That's so good.
I actually feel like, my body is almost changing a little bit and just relaxing. And
Good.
I feel like things are a bit more in flow. So, yeah, I think having that confidence internally really actually does shine outside
It
big
really
time.
does. Phenomenal. Keep up the
Definitely.
good work. Keep shining.
Thank
You're
you.
an
I
amazing
will.
human and well
Ah,
done. You
you
did the work.
too.
You did the
Thank
heavy
you,
lifting. I
Vanessa.
was just your guide. And yeah, in the future, you can just refresh it. You
Absolutely.
know where I am, but I'm very confident that you have the skills now to just refresh it. You're going to get greater strengths or different strengths and different accomplishments, and it'll just be a matter of updating it. You're not going to have to do the heavy lifting. You've
Mm,
done that. It's just
yeah.
going to be tweaking from
Yeah,
here on in, which is
absolutely.
amazing.
And it's invaluable. I mean, like you said, you were the guide, really to do that heavy lifting. And I do feel confident that I can go into the future now. And I mean, I would love to obviously come back for these little tweaks here and there because I think it's still so invaluable. And there's definitely things that I want to continue working on and keep growing and keep evolving and, developing these strengths even more. So, but yeah, it was just truly, I could not recommend it enough. I just think everyone should do it and get in touch with their power and really their confidence on the inside because it's something that needs to be sometimes pulled out when you've been going for so long on
Yeah.
this autopilot of not really knowing where you belong and where your strengths are. And I think sometimes some people like me just need a bit of a shake and a helping hand to just be like, no, I am who I am, and that's more than enough.
You got this. Yeah, exactly. You are enough. That's it.
Yeah. Definitely. So thank you.
Maxine, you've been so gorgeous sharing your story. You've been very generous. You've been very vulnerable. And I know you will help other people. You know, even sharing your story today will give people permission to stop and say, guess what? I am enough. You know, if that's what you take
Absolutely.
away today, fantastic.
Oh,
But if,
definitely.
you know, because you
Please
are,
do.
yeah.
For
Have a
sure.
gorgeous day. And I know you're off for a little bit and then you're starting your new job. I know
Yeah.
you're going to be wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wouldn't be so confident to be starting this if it wasn't for our session. So, but I feel great. I feel excited for the new challenge and ready. And yeah, thank you so much, Vanessa. Honestly, you have helped me an unbelievable amount.
Congratulations and thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.